Good evening and welcome to our 7th and 8th grade spring concert. This is the concert band portion tonight. It's great to have you here once again so that you can share in all the learning and development that they've done over the last semester. So we're going to start off with a song called Blue Sky Horizon. Our next piece of the concert is a salute to Louis Armstrong. And Louis Armstrong, a lot of us probably know his name, really important in jazz and popular music world in the early 20th century. He was a trumpeter, he was a band leader, a singer. And one of the things that was great about this piece is that a lot of the students on stage usually don't get to play the style of music that is contained in this piece. It's usually reserved for jazz bands or stage bands. like we have here. So I thought it was really important to give them an opportunity to experience swing music and learn the process that goes into actually reading the music and interpreting it. Because any musicians out there, if you're familiar with swing or playing jazz, you know that when you look at the music, it actually sounds a little bit different than what it looks like. So this is Salute to Louis Armstrong. This semester we've had a great opportunity to work with Westchester University. Once again, I've hosted 2 student teachers this spring. Our first student teacher, Mr. Whitcomb, for the first 7 weeks, and then recently we've had Ms. Tennant with us. So I'm going to introduce Ms. Tennant. She's going to play a song, or conduct a song, I should say, that's entitled Through the Storm. And I'm not going to give any description because I believe that the composer here, Jarazal, does a phenomenal job of setting the scenery using sound. So Through the Storm, and Miss Tennant, come on out here, please. Our next piece is entitled Plaza Deuros, which is the bull ring. If some of you have previewed the program, I'm sure you're sitting there excited for this next one. I know you're going to get up and dance in the aisles. Feel free, it's okay. We all have to relive our, teenage years a little bit. The next one is Bye Bye Bye. We hope you enjoy it. And yes, it is Bye Bye Bye. For our last piece, we're going to be bringing out the percussionists. Usually they live back there. It's the safest place for them and us. But we're going to actually allow them to come out of their cage back there. Come out front, a lot of them, so you're going to see them come out here. We're going to do, before we do our last piece, I want to thank the administration, central admin, board of school directors, for all their support for our program. I want to thank especially you, the parents. Keep encouraging them to stick with music, keep performing, keep enjoying doing it. It's something you can take with you forever and ever. My knees are getting very, very old and sore and not working as well, but the music still, I can still play music. And that'll take us really long through our life. Are we ready for percussion? Just about. This piece is Junkyard Jam. What you see up here with the chairs, there's actually buckets behind the seats. This was just the best way that we could get set up. So we have some buckets here, we have trash cans, we have trash can lids, and the winds will be playing behind as well. Okay, so Junkyard Jam, please enjoy.
Welcome to the spring choral concert for the 7th and 8th grade chorus. They have a bunch of music to sing through tonight. They worked really hard on it since we came back from the break in January. I'm really, really proud of their growth. We're going to start with a madrigal, which is kind of just like you study Shakespeare in English class. If you are in choir, you should at some point sing madrigals. It's kind of like the vegetables, so to speak, of your musical diet. Madrigals were songs that were performed by traveling groups of performers during the Renaissance period, so you're talking 1500s. As I said to the kids, they didn't have TV, they didn't have Netflix, they didn't have video games or computers or any of that stuff, so they got their entertainment from live entertainment. And most of it was written to be performed a cappella or with a traveling instrument like a lute or something like that that was a predecessor to the guitar. So this is a madrigal called Sing We Enchanted by Thomas Morley. The next piece is entitled Aurora Borealis, a song of Alaska. And I was actually inspired to program this piece. Hopefully you all saw our very own Aurora Borealis here a few months ago, the Northern Lights, when they were visible in town. So this was inspired by the composer seeing the Northern Lights, which you can usually see in Alaska, Norway, and Siberia. It's pretty rare for them to be seen down this far. And pro tip also, if it ever comes around again, you can see it better through a phone camera than you can see with your naked eye. So if you ever hear Aurora Borealis again, go out with your phone camera and you can see it a lot better. So this is a really cool piece. It was inspired by her seeing the Aurora Borealis in Alaska. And it features two soloists at the beginning, Abby Grand and Evan Scott. This is Aurora Borealis. Diet musical tour is another standard. Mozart, we all know who he is, even if we're not musicians. So Mozart's another composer that pretty much all musicians should study and perform something by. In fact, you all performed something by Mozart. If you know your ABCs, or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or Ba 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 Shape, all the same tune, by the way. That was a tune written by Mozart when he was just a wee tot. So, yes, Mozart. So Mozart, most composers at that time period made their money by being commissioned by very wealthy people or by churches to write music. So Mozart died when he was only in his 30s, very young, but he wrote a ton of music for many different masses, church services, things like that. The piece that we're going to sing for you today is from the Requiem Mass, which he was working on when he died. It was actually completed after his death by his student with Mozart's notes and all of his knowledge of studying with Mozart. So the piece that we're going to sing though is the Dies Irae, which means Day of Wrath. So it's about Judgment Day. So hopefully you can hear the suspense in it. And they worked really hard on the Latin because all the music in the Mass would have been performed by Latin. So this is the Dies Irae from Mozart's Requiem. Thank you so much. We're going to make a quick set change to our our honors choir. And this is a smaller group that's auditioned at the beginning of the year, and they rehearse after school, so they learn different music. And so the full choir is going to line the aisles for us. And we're going to have two selections for you while the honors choir makes their way down to the lower risers. The first one is going to be going back to the Renaissance. This is an Italian motet written by Orlando de Lasso. The translation of this, it's about a spinning wheel. Oh, beautiful spinning wheel, do you hear the wheel? Do you see the wheel spin? What threads do you spin? Threads of silk and threads of gold. So hear it whirling and turning. So this is all about the spinning wheel. This is called O Bella Pusa. friends from the Sun Valley Chamber Choir to come on up and join us now. A few years ago, Mrs. Moyer, clap for them, they're awesome. A few years ago, Mrs. Moyer and I got the idea to do a combined piece with our audition group and her audition group, just to kind of do another layer of bridging the gap between levels. So most of these kids up here were at the Sun Valley concert last night where they sang this piece we're going to sing for you. And now the Sun Valley kids are going to come down here and join them. And it's a little bonus for me because most of them were ones in my choir here. So to see them grow and continue their singing is a real joy for me too. So this is a 50s classic, When I Fall in Love. All right, we're going to let them get off the risers, and we're going to let the full choir get back on the risers. So Armstrong, go ahead and get back to your already designated locations. We've had a long couple weeks of testing here in Northley. I'm sure you guys know because you guys have been doing it. And I was just thinking to myself the other day, it's really nice to end that long stretch with some music making together, kind of a juxtaposition that I know 8th grade, you're not quite done. Many of you have keystones and you still have science and art stuff. But anyway, it's just a nice juxtaposition to all that, like, very serious, quiet time. And I was just thinking to myself, there's really no quantifying what we do up here in a standardized test or boiling it down to data points on a spreadsheet. And, these days in education, it seems so much of what we do revolve around those things. And I mean, those things are for sure important, but I really think the qualitative data that we have up here bears out that this part of their educational experience is of equal importance. You know, on top of all the challenging musical concepts they're mastering and tackling foreign languages and learning about culture and music history and all that good stuff, they're learning to really listen to each other, to breathe together, be silent together. That's something we have to work very hard on in middle school. And create something beautiful out of silence. They're learning that the process is just as important, if not more important, than the final product. And they're learning that the best satisfaction comes from working so hard and striving for perfection and being really proud of the fruits of their labor. So, you know, I keep up on things going on at Sun Valley. You know, I work there also as a theater director. It's really fun to work with a lot of kids for 7 years. And I see all the wonderful achievements of our PennDelta students, you know, highlighted on our social media channels and things like that. And it's really no surprise to me that so many of these kids excel in everything. Academics, sports, general good humaning. Are more often than not kids who have also come through the PennDelta music program. And I know in the data world correlation is not necessarily equal causation, but I think it's pretty good anecdotal data that what we're doing here together matters. And so thank you for supporting this. I hope someday when you guys look back on your school time that you remember like our time together as a meaningful part of your education. Yeah. So now that they're back, let's wrap it up with a few full choir numbers. The first one we're going to sing for you is called Lakeside Lowhai. I'm sitting on the piano on that. This next piece is a traditional American folk song, an unattributed poem from a railroad worker when we were building the rails west. So this is called 900 Miles. In seriousness, we're going to finish out with a pop tune, a pop acapella tune, which is deceptively challenging. I think it's fun, but then they realize they're not just all singing the melody the whole time, and they have to sing a bass line or accompaniments. I said, go and listen to those pop acapella groups. It's one person singing the melody and everybody else creating all the instrumentals that you're used to hearing underneath them. But I'd love to take a moment to thank, on behalf of myself and Mr. Hazel, the administration here in Penducco, here at Northley, across the parking lot. We enjoy a lot of support for our program here, and we know that we are lucky in that. So that does not go unnoticed. Again, I'd like to thank you guys for having your kids participate in our program. We know it's another thing on your calendar, what we lovingly refer to in my house as May-cember, where all the things are on the calendar. I get it, I see you. But thank you for making this a priority in your lives and your kids' lives. 8th grade, this is it. I hope that I will get to work with many of them still in Sun Valley Theater. That's a treat for me to get to still work with so many of them. But it has been a real pleasure. This group has been a really nice group from the time they came into me in 6th grade all the way straight through. Just really generally kind to each other, nice group to work with. So it's been a treat having you, and I hope to see you all on stage with Mrs. Moyer next year at the Sun Valley concert. So without further ado, this is going to be price tag. I asked my student from the high school, Jonathan, to come down and play some cajon, which is a drum box for us with this. So this is price tag.
Forget about the price tag.